The Silk Road wasn't just about silk, spices, or gold. It was the world's first superhighway connecting cultures, ideas, and people. But what most people don't know is that this legendary trade route is filled with secrets and hidden stories that rarely get told. How did it really begin? Who were the people that traveled it, and what dangers did they face? And why is its impact still felt today? In this video, we're uncovering the untold story of the Silk Road, one that goes beyond just trade and dives into the forgotten cities, mysterious myths, and surprising cultural exchanges. Let's begin. The Silk Road's origins date back over 2,000 years, but it wasn't just about trading goods like silk or spices. It started as a network of routes connecting China to the Mediterranean, allowing different cultures to interact for the first time. Traders would carry goods across deserts, mountains, and dangerous terrain. But beyond just selling items, the Silk Road became a bridge for ideas, art, and inventions. For example, paper and gunpowder, both invented in China, eventually made their way to Europe through this route. The name Silk Road only came later. It's a term coined by a 19th century German geographer. And while silk was a major product, the exchanges were much broader, including metals, glassware, and even musical instruments. This ancient highway became the internet of its time, spreading knowledge, languages, and traditions. While history often focuses on male traders and adventurers, women played a surprisingly important role on the Silk Road. Many women, especially those from nomadic tribes, were essential to the production of goods like textiles and food, which were traded along the route. They also helped manage businesses, especially when men were away on long journeys. Some women even traveled as traders themselves, defying the norms of their time. In some cultures along the Silk Road, women held considerable influence, contributing to diplomacy and cultural exchanges. Their involvement in the Silk Road is often overlooked, but played a key role in its success. One of the Silk Road's most significant impacts was on religion. As traders moved between cities and regions, they carried more than just goods. They spread beliefs. Buddhism, for example, traveled from India to China through merchants and monks. Along the way, it influenced Central Asia, where Buddhist monasteries popped up along the route. Similarly, Islam spread from the Arabian Peninsula through the Silk Road, reaching as far as China. These religions didn't just spread, they also changed as they interacted with local cultures. For instance, the Buddhist art in Central Asia took on more Greek and Persian influences as it moved along the route. Christianity too found its way into Central Asia through the Silk Road. Nestorian Christians, who were often traders themselves, introduced their beliefs to regions like Persia and China. The Silk Road became a melting pot of ideas where religious diversity flourished and people encountered new beliefs, leading to a rich blending of traditions across continents. The Silk Road is filled with tales of adventure, danger, and mystery. While we know the basics, there are many untold stories and myths that have been passed down through generations. One popular legend is about a lost treasure hidden somewhere along the route. Ancient traders supposedly buried gold and jewels to protect them from bandits, but no one ever came back to claim it. Another mystery surrounds the disappearance of whole caravans. Travelers would sometimes vanish without a trace in the vast deserts, leading to stories of haunted lands or cursed paths. There's also the curious case of Marco Polo. Some historians question whether he even traveled the Silk Road, as his accounts might have been exaggerated or based on stories he heard from others. Additionally, myths often paint the Silk Road as a dangerous and lawless place, but in reality, many of its routes were protected by local rulers to encourage trade. However, the harsh conditions still made it risky. Extreme weather, wild animals, and the constant threat of thieves meant every journey was an adventure in itself. While cities like Samarkand and Kashgar are often mentioned in connection with the Silk Road, there are many other forgotten cities that played vital roles. For example, Merv, located in modern-day Turkmenistan, was once one of the largest and most prosperous cities along the route. It was a center for learning, culture, and trade, but has since faded from history. Other cities like Palmyra and Balkh also thrived along the Silk Road, but are now mostly ruins, which are now forgotten in history. The Silk Road wasn't just about trading goods, it was a massive exchange of knowledge and culture too. For instance, the compass, which was developed in China, spread to the west through the Silk Road, changing how people navigated. Similarly, artistic styles like Persian miniatures and Chinese pottery influenced each other, creating a blend of art across cultures. Even simple things like food, noodles from China, spices from India, found their way into distant kitchens. The road connected the East and the West in more ways than one, making it a global platform for sharing ideas and inventions. As time passed, the Silk Road gradually lost its importance. One major reason was the rise of sea routes that were faster and safer for traders. Europeans began to sail around Africa, avoiding the dangerous desert and mountain paths. The Mongol Empire, which had once protected much of the Silk Road, also collapsed, making the route less secure. Additionally, the spread of diseases like the Black Plague discouraged long-distance travel. However, even though the Silk Road declined, its impact continued. The exchanges of ideas, cultures, and technologies it enabled had already shaped the world. It left a lasting legacy on global trade, diplomacy, and culture. Many of the cities along the route still carry the influence of ancient travelers, and we can still see traces of Silk Road history in modern times. The Silk Road may not be a bustling trade route anymore, but there was a time when it represented one of the first examples of globalization, connecting distant regions in ways that have shaped history. The ideas and goods exchanged on this route laid the foundation for modern trade and cultural exchange. If you enjoyed learning about the untold story of the Silk Road, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating history lessons. There's so much more to discover, and we'd love to have you on this journey with us.